Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Virginia Department of Corrections, Red Onion State Prison. To accept this call, press 0.
As some of my listeners may know by now, I was the face of the Emmy Award-winning documentary Solitary, a look inside Red Onion State Prison. And outside of the abuse that I endured as a small child and how I've managed to overcome that abuse along with being in solitary confinement for over 13 and a half years, the thing that fascinates people the most is my ability to close my eyes and internally visualize whatever it is that I'm daydreaming about. I completely understand why this fascinates people. I've been doing it for years and it still enthralls me to this day. The reason for this fascination is that it gives you complete control, and for the overwhelming majority of us, it's the only control that we will ever have. Life is extremely difficult, and with pandemics and violence on the rise alongside more and more natural disasters, we could use a little control in our lives. So with your permission, I would like to bring you alongside one of my forest walks. I could use the company, and you should find it peaceful. Before we start the visualization exercise, please bear in mind, you can't force it. This is about relaxing your mind and allowing it to do the work for you. Close your eyes and regulate your breathing and allow my words to build the scenery for you. We're standing on the gravel driveway of my childhood home. In front of us, there are 3 humongous pine trees reaching around 130 feet into the air. We turn to the left, and we walk down a hill. 2 hills in one, so to speak. You know, you walk down the first hill, and there's a little flat area. And it's filled with tall grasses, just thick. You can barely walk through it, but there's a little path that's been cut through it. And we walk down that path until we get to some trees going down the rest of the lower part of the hill. Trees are pretty fairly spaced apart. They're not real thick yet. You know, you got your poplars and a couple of pine trees and a few oak trees. And as you continue to go down, you get to the bottom. And at the bottom, there's a little causeway. On the right, you have a little small pond that's more swamp than it is pond. It's real thick with mud and a little bit of sand, almost like quicksand. And you got the little walkway, and you got a pipe that goes under the walkway that lets fresh water through down into a little stream. And right in front of you, there's a clearing that used to be a garden. Now it's nothing more than just dirt. And you see trees ringing the entire thing, just thick, closely packed together. You know, the leaves and the branches all intertwined, and you can hear the scrapings of one against the other. You know, you just stop and admire the colors, the browns, you know, the darks, the light browns. You see the different shades of green, the dark pine needles, the light green of the poplar, the darker green of the oak trees. We take this moment to just visualize it, just to see it. Before we take a left and we walk down this path, and it's right beside this little bubbling creek. It's a little small creek, but it flows over a bunch of rocks, and it's kind of loud in the silence and the stillness. You can hear a bird call some distance away. We walk about maybe 100 feet. You get to the tree line in the little clearing, and there's a path that goes through. But on each side of the path, you see some run-down posts that has some twisted, rusty strands of barbed wire hanging from it, running off to the sides a little bit, but falling apart, just a few feet on each side. And you follow me through. My favorite trees, cedar trees. There's a lot of cedar trees there, and it smells so good and fragrant and clean. You know, you can feel the sponginess of the pine needles and the leaves crackling under your feet. You can hear the birds chirping, and you hear squirrels. And you just walk. And it's a long path, and on the left side of it, you got the hill that continues for quite some ways, and it gets real steep. And you got the creek, and it widens up at the base of the hill, and it gets a little bit bigger. And you have some spots where it turns into small pools, maybe 3 feet deep, about 10 feet in diameter. So you have a couple of those before they continue to travel on and meet each other. As you walk, you just soak up the sounds of nature. You know, maybe another 30 feet. You come to, it's not a clearing. It's just sort of an open space. It's real small. And there's a fallen tree. It's a big tree, maybe about 3.5 feet in diameter. And we sit on the tree. There's no more bark left. It's been eaten away by beetles and insects and termites and whatnot, but the tree underneath of it is still solid. You have the roots that are sticking up, no dirt clinging to them because it's been there for so long and the wind has scoured it away and cleansed it. And I invite you to sit down. We don't talk. We don't ask questions. We don't ask each other how our day is going, have we paid bills or anything like that. We let the world fall away from us. We just sit. And we just look around at whatever attracts our gazes. You know, you see the squirrels, they get used to our presence after a while, and they start running around and searching for nuts and playing with one another. You see little sparrows and blue ticks swooping in and out looking for worms or insects to eat. And it's just so peaceful. It's just so quiet, filled with nature. And you feel good. You start to sit up a little bit straighter because some of the weight of the world is just falling off of you behind the tree, soaking into the ground. You know, nature is doing what it's supposed to do. It calms you. It makes you reflective. It gives you peace. You feel good about yourself. You feel like you belong. And that's the thing about nature. No matter who you are, no matter where you're from, you belong in nature because you was created for nature and nature was created for you. And you start to feel that. You start to understand why it's such a happy place, why it's such a peaceful place. The quiet isn't deafening. The quiet is comforting. You hear the trees, you know, as they creak a little bit, as they sway in a soft breeze. Leaves rustle, and they make music. Maybe, if you're blessed, there might be a deer or something will travel through. Maybe not. But that's the thing, you never know what you'll see in nature. And it rejuvenates you. It inspires you. It lifts you up. It makes you feel like you can face the rest of the week. You know, when we sit there and just contemplate, we feel each other's presence. We enjoy each other's presence. We feel connected to humanity in a way that we never do elsewhere. And that is the end of my visualization exercise. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you find peace from it. And remember, you don't have to do it one time. You can do it as many times as you want to. You will be amazed at how good it makes you feel afterwards. I mean, you have people who spend thousands of dollars of money a session to do this exercise with a professional, and you can just do it for free yourself, and it doesn't cost you anything. This is Red Onion Randy. Take care and stay safe. This is Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoyed listening to my podcast and visiting my website, redonionrandy.com. If you enjoyed listening to me, I would appreciate it if you would review and rate me. I'm shooting for 5 stars, but I'll take what you can give me, as this will help me to reach a broader audience. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you for using GTL.